Across the vast, rolling plains of Saskatchewan near the small community of Coronac, a human endeavor of immense scale is underway. Here lies the Poplar River Mine, a place where we reach back into the deep history of our planet to power the present. Since it began its operations, in 1979, this mine has become a critical artery in the energy circulatory system of the province. It is not just a hole in the ground, it is a carefully choreographed dance between colossal machines and the ancient Earth. A story of geology, engineering, and the unceasing human quest for energy. This is a story written in layers of rock and time, a testament to our ability to reshape our world. The mine's purpose is singular and profound: to fuel the adjacent Sask Power Poplar River Station. This power plant is a cornerstone of the region's electrical grid, providing what is known as baseload power. Think of it as the constant, reliable hum of electricity that must always be there, the minimum energy required to keep our homes lit and our society functioning, day and night, rain or shine. The Poplar River Mine, operated by Westmoreland Mining, shoulders the responsibility of unearthing between 2.2 and 3.4 million tons of lignite coal each year, ensuring that this foundational power remains unbroken. It's a direct, unbroken chain from ancient sunlight to the flick of a switch. What we call lignite is a humble form of coal, the youngest and softest in its family. It is the first step in a geologic journey that, given millions more years and immense pressure, could transform it into harder coals like anthracite. Lignite is essentially compressed peat, the remains of primeval forests and swamps that flourished tens of millions of years ago. Each lump of this dark, brownish-black rock is a time capsule, a storage vessel for solar energy captured by plants in a bygone era. When we mine it, we are not just digging up a rock, we are harvesting the faint but potent echo of ancient sunlight, trapped within the carbon bonds of long-dead vegetation. Our journey today, on this day of November 10, 2025, is to venture deep inside this remarkable operation. We will follow the path of this stored energy, from its resting place deep within the earth, to its final, brilliant transformation into the electricity that illuminates our modern cosmos. We will witness the monumental machines that move mountains, the intricate logistics that transport the fuel, and the solemn promise to restore the land once its energy has been released. This is a story about power, but it is also a story about responsibility, a cycle of extraction and restoration playing out on a planetary scale. A microcosm of humanity's relationship with Earth itself. Before a single piece of coal can be touched, the mining process begins with a gesture of profound respect for the future. The very first step is not one of extraction, but of preservation. The land, covered in the rich topsoil and native grasses that define the Saskatchewan prairie, must be carefully prepared. Using powerful bulldozers and nimble excavators, crews methodically scrape away the precious upper layer of soil, the life-giving skin of the earth. This is not waste material. It is the seed of future renewal. It is the biological memory of the landscape, containing the nutrients, seeds, and microorganisms necessary for life to flourish again. This salvaged topsoil, a dark and fertile blanket, is then transported to designated stockpiles. Here, it will wait patiently, sometimes for years, until its time comes to be returned to the land. This act is a crucial down payment on an ecological promise. It acknowledges that our access to the energy buried below is temporary, alone from the planet. By saving the topsoil, the miners are ensuring that when their work is done, they can return what they borrowed, giving the land a chance to heal and become productive once more. It is a forward-thinking strategy, a recognition that the end of the story is just as important as the beginning. Beneath the topsoil lies a thicker layer of clay and subsoil, which is also removed and segregated. Each layer of the Earth's upper crust is treated like a different chapter in a book, meant to be put back in the correct order. This meticulous separation is vital for successful reclamation. If you were to simply mix it all together, the result would be a sterile, unproductive medium. But by keeping the layers distinct, the miners can later reconstruct the soil profile in its original sequence, placing the nutrient-poor subsoil down first, and blanketing it with the rich, life-sustaining topsoil, just as nature originally arranged it. This initial phase of the operation sets the tone for everything that follows. It is a slow, deliberate process, a stark contrast to the powerful and rapid extraction that will come later. It demonstrates a fundamental understanding of the land, not as an inert resource to be exploited, but as a complex, living system. The journey into the Earth's depths to retrieve ancient energy begins with a promise to the surface, a commitment to ensure that the prairie's vibrant ecosystem will one day return, a green and living testament to a cycle completed with care and forethought. The first step in taking is to plan how you will give back. Once the delicate skin of topsoil has been saved, the real heavy lifting begins. The stage is now set for the true giants of the Poplar River mine to make their entrance, the Bucyrus-Erie 2570W draglines. These are not merely machines, they are walking behemoths, architectural marvels of steel and electricity, standing as tall as a condominium building. Their colossal booms stretch out across the landscape, capable of moving mountains of earth with a single, graceful scoop. Their task is to remove the overburden, the immense weight of rock, clay and shale that sits atop the hidden coal seam, a layer that can be over 30 meters or 100 feet thick. These draglines operate in a methodical, repetitive ballet of immense power. They begin by digging a long, rectangular trench known as a box cut, exposing the coal seam along its length. The material they excavate, scooped up by a 93 cubic yard bucket, is not hauled away. Instead, in a display of incredible efficiency, the dragline simply pivots on its base and deposits the overburden into the adjacent pit from a previous cut. This creates massive, rolling hills of excavated earth called spoil piles. The machine slowly walks backward along the edge of the pit, consuming the earth before it and rebuilding the landscape behind it. The operators of these machines are masters of a unique craft, piloting their titans from a cabin perched high above the ground. They don't fly by sight alone. Their work is guided by a sophisticated software system that feeds them a real-time, three-dimensional map of the mine plan. This digital guide shows them precisely where to dig, how deep to go, and where to place the spoil, ensuring that the operation is executed with surgical precision. The system also monitors the weight of each payload and the stress on the machine's components, allowing for maximum efficiency while safeguarding these multi-million-dollar assets from damage. This process of overburden removal is a continuous, 24/7 operation. The draglines never rest, their movements a slow and steady pulse at the heart of the mine. They are the gatekeepers, the machines that clear the way for the energy harvest to begin. Without their immense strength, the lignite coal, formed from the sunlight of a distant past, would remain forever locked away beneath an impenetrable fortress of stone. They are the key, turning the lock on a vault of ancient energy, preparing the way for the next stage of our cosmic journey from rock to light. To truly appreciate the scale of this operation, we must pause and consider the dragline itself. The Bucyrus-Erie 2570W is a relic from an era of titanic engineering, a testament to a time when we built machines to rival the forces of nature. These are not powered by diesel engines, whose roar would be deafening. Instead, they are entirely electric, tethered to the grid by a thick 3-inch power cable that snakes across the mine floor. This cable feeds the machine an astonishing 25,000 volts of electricity, allowing its motors to draw up to 10 megawatts of power at peak load. There is a beautiful cosmic irony in this fact. The very electricity that powers the dragline to dig for coal is generated by the adjacent Sask power station, which is itself fueled by the coal from this very mine. It is a perfect, self-sustaining loop. The energy released from ancient buried sunlight is used to power the machine that unearths more ancient, buried sunlight. It's a snake eating its own tail, a cycle of power feeding power, a connection that binds the machine, the mine, and the power plant into a single symbiotic organism, all humming with the same electrical lifeblood. The heart of the dragline's work is its bucket. At Poplar River, they use an ESCO bucket capable of holding 93 cubic yards of material. To put that into perspective, a single scoop can move a volume of earth equivalent to a large suburban swimming pool, weighing as much as 170 tons. The operator swings this immense steel maw out on a network of thick cables, drops it to the ground, and drags it back toward the machine. The sheer physics involved are staggering, a dance of tension, gravity, and momentum, all orchestrated by a single human from the control cab. Watching a dragline at work is like watching a force of geology in motion, It doesn't move fast, but its progress is relentless and inexorable. The machine itself walks using a pair of massive pontoon-like feet. To move, it lifts itself up on these feet, slides its main tub base forward and then sets itself down again, step by ponderous step. It is a slow, methodical march across the prairie, reshaping the very contours of the planet. It is a mechanical glacier, carving new valleys and building new mountains as it hunts for the black seam of carbon hidden below. With the colossal weight of the overburden removed by the draglines, a new vista opens up at the bottom of the pit. Here, exposed to the sky for the first time in millions of years, lies the prize, the coal seam. This layer of dark, crumbly lignite represents a thin slice of prehistoric time, a compressed memory of a world teeming with ancient plants. Now, a different team of machines descends into the pit to perform the harvest. The brute force of the draglines gives way to the more precise and mobile power of wheel loaders and haul trucks, the busy gatherers of this energy bounty. At the forefront of this extraction are the massive Caterpillar 993 wheel loaders. These are not your typical construction site loaders. They are giants in their own right, with enormous buckets designed specifically for scooping up the fractured coal. With surprising agility, they maneuver across the floor of the pit, filling their buckets and loading the waiting fleet of haul trucks. It is a carefully coordinated dance in a confined space, a high-stakes ballet of diesel-powered machines working to efficiently gather the fuel that the draglines have so painstakingly exposed to the light of day. The workhorses responsible for carrying the coal out of the pit are the Caterpillar 777 haulers. These bright yellow stadium-sized trucks are a constant presence, cycling in and out of the excavation area. Each truck can carry a payload of around 100 tons of lignite per trip. They descend into the pit via carefully maintained ramps, position themselves to be loaded, and then begin the arduous climb back up to the surface. Their journey is a continuous loop, a conveyor belt of individual vehicles, each one a crucial link in the chain that moves this ancient, stored energy from its geologic tomb. The lignite itself is soft and has a high moisture content, making it relatively easy to dig. It looks more like dark, compacted earth than the hard, shiny black rock many people associate with coal. But its humble appearance belies the energy locked within its chemical bonds. This is the raw material of electricity, the condensed essence of a prehistoric ecosystem. The work in the pit is relentless, as loaders and haulers work in tandem under the vast Saskatchewan sky, ensuring a steady stream of this carbon-rich fuel is always moving upward, out of the darkness, and into the first stage of its journey toward combustion and transformation. Once the Cat 777 haul trucks have climbed out of the depths of the mine pit, their journey is not yet over. They deliver their 100-ton loads of raw lignite to a central processing and loadout facility. Here, the coal begins its transition from a mined resource to a prepared fuel. The first step in this process is crushing. The chunks of lignite, which can be quite large, are fed into a crusher that breaks them down to a more uniform and manageable size, typically ensuring no piece is larger than 6 inches. This standardization is critical for the next stages of handling and transport. After being crushed, the coal embarks on a new leg of its journey, this time via a network of conveyor belts. These automated arteries of the mine carry the stream of black rock upward and into a massive storage silo. This silo acts as a buffer, a holding tank that ensures a consistent and uninterrupted supply of coal is ready for the final leg of its trip from the mine. It decouples the pace of the mining operation from the schedule of the transport system, allowing both to operate at their own peak efficiency. The silo is a waiting room for energy, holding tons of fuel in suspension before its final move. From the silo, the coal is loaded onto a dedicated train. The Poplar River Mine operates the longest privately owned short-line railway in Western Canada, a steel river built for the sole purpose of connecting the mine to the power station. A typical train consists of 23 rail cars, and each car is filled with approximately 100 tons of crushed lignite. This means a single train journey transports over 2,000 metric tons of fuel. The loading is a swift, automated process, with the coal pouring from the silo into the open-topped cars waiting below, a cascade of black rock destined for the furnaces. The train then begins its 22-kilometer journey south to the Sask power station. It's a relatively short trip, with a round trip taking about 2 hours, but it is a journey that is repeated relentlessly. making 4 to 6 trips every single day. This train is the final and most critical link in the logistical chain. It is the umbilical cord connecting the heart of the mine to the power-generating plant. The rhythmic clatter of its wheels on the track is the pulse of the entire operation, a constant beat marking the steady flow of ancient energy on its way to be liberated as light and heat. When the train arrives at the Saskatchewan Poplar River station, its cargo of lignite is quickly unloaded and moved to a large stockpile on site. This yard serves as the power plant's immediate fuel reserve, a final buffer to ensure that the generators never fall silent, even if there are temporary interruptions in the mining or rail operations. From this stockpile, the coal is reclaimed and sent on the final steps of its physical journey. It enters another series of crushers and pulverizers, a far more intense process than the initial crushing at the mine. Here, the 6-inch chunks are ground down into a fine black powder, as fine as dust. This transformation into powder is the key to its energetic release. By pulverizing the coal, we dramatically increase its surface area. Think of trying to light a large log with a single match. It's difficult, but if you were to shave that same log into a pile of fine sawdust, it would ignite almost instantly. The same principle applies here. This fine coal dust can be blown into the power station's boilers, where it combusts with incredible speed and intensity, releasing its stored chemical energy in a colossal burst of heat. The solid rock, born of ancient swamps, has become an explosive, flammable aerosol. Inside the massive boilers, this controlled explosion heats immense quantities of purified water, flowing through a network of pipes. The water absorbs the intense heat from the burning coal and transforms into high-pressure steam. This is the moment of alchemy, the conversion of chemical energy into thermal energy. The steam, under immense pressure, is then channeled through pipes to turn the blades of a massive turbine. It is a transfer of power from the molecular chaos of hot steam to the orderly rotational motion of a giant machine, much like how wind turns the blades of a windmill. The spinning turbine is connected to a generator, and in the heart of the generator, this rotational mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy. As the turbine spins, it rotates giant magnets within coils of copper wire, exciting the electrons and creating a flow of electric current. This is the final transfiguration. The energy of sunlight, captured by plants millions of years ago, stored in the earth as coal and released as heat, has now become the invisible, potent force of electricity. It is fed into the grid, traveling at nearly the speed of light to illuminate our homes, power our industries, and sustain our modern civilization. The story of the Poplar River mine does not end when the coal is shipped away. There is another chapter, one that unfolds concurrently with the extraction. It is the story of reclamation, the process of fulfilling the promise made when the first layer of topsoil was set aside. As the draglines create new pits, they are simultaneously backfilling the old ones. The spoil piles, the mountains of overburden dug from the box cuts, are dumped and graded by the draglines back into the empty voids where the coal has already been harvested. The landscape, once a deep chasm, is slowly filled in, its basic topography restored. Once the pits are backfilled, a new team of machines arrives. Giant bulldozers, like the Caterpillar D10, crawl over the lumpy, uneven surface of the spoil piles. Their job is to recontour the land, smoothing the rough piles into gentle rolling slopes that mimic the natural terrain of the surrounding prairie. This is not just for aesthetic reasons, it is crucial for proper water drainage and for preventing erosion. The land is being sculpted, prepared to once again become a functioning part of the local ecosystem. The sharp angles of the mine are softened back into the gentle curves of nature. Now, the most critical step begins: the return of the soil. The stockpiles of subsoil and topsoil, which have been patiently waiting, are brought back to the recontoured land. Excavators carefully load the soil onto articulated dump trucks, sometimes called wiggle wagons for their flexible middle joint, which allows them to navigate the uneven terrain. They spread the subsoil first, followed by the precious, dark layer of topsoil, blanketing the newly shaped land with the very same living earth that was removed years before. The memory of the prairie is being restored to the land. The final act of reclamation is seeding. The restored topsoil is planted with a mixture of grasses and legumes, very often alfalfa or hay crops. This new vegetation quickly takes root, its tendrils binding the soil together, preventing it from washing or blowing away. Within a few seasons, what was once an active mine pit becomes a productive field, indistinguishable to the casual observer from the surrounding agricultural land. The mine reclaims approximately 100 hectares of land every single year, ensuring that the process of healing follows closely behind the process of extraction, a continuous cycle of renewal. As we stand here on the reclaimed prairie, feeling the wind whisper through the tall grasses, it is hard to imagine the colossal machines that once worked this very spot. The cycle is complete, the energy has been harvested, and the land has been returned to a productive state. This process at Poplar River is a powerful illustration of our complex relationship with the planet. We are a species that requires immense amounts of energy to sustain our global civilization, a hunger that often forces us to make significant alterations to the Earth's surface. But we are also a species capable of incredible foresight, planning, and restoration. The lignite that powers Saskatchewan is a finite resource, a geological gift with an expiration date. The processes we have witnessed, from the draglines to the reclamation, are part of a transitional phase in our energy story. For now, on this day in 2025, it provides the reliable baseload power that underpins our society. It is a bridge, built from the resources of the past, that carries us toward a future where our energy may come from the sun, the wind, or the atom in more direct and sustainable ways. This mine, in its own way, is powering the very research and development that may one day make it obsolete. The reclamation work here offers a vital lesson. It shows that it is possible to use a resource without permanently destroying the landscape. The commitment to salvaging topsoil, recontouring the land, and replanting vegetation demonstrates a responsibility that extends beyond simple economics. It is an acknowledgement that we are not owners of this planet, but temporary custodians. The ability to return a landscape to a state of biological productivity is a powerful tool, one that will become increasingly important as we navigate the environmental challenges of the 21st century, and beyond. The story of the Poplar River Mine is therefore a story of cycles. There is the cycle of power, where energy from the plant fuels the machines that dig for more fuel. There is the cycle of geology, reaching back millions of years to tap the energy of an ancient sun. And most importantly, there is the cycle of renewal, where the land is borrowed, its energy is used, and then it is carefully returned to begin a new chapter of life. It's a microcosm of the grander cosmic cycles of birth, existence, and transformation, a story of how a civilization, for a time, learned to move mountains and then learned how to put them back.